Hello, everybody. We're gonna,
Do you like
we're gonna
pool?
start it soon. Billiards. I like billiards.
Billiards is different from pools. It's not the same.
What are you talking about?
Pool and billiard are two different sports.
Sure. I mean, they play on the same table for the most part. There's slight
Yeah.
variations.
They're different rules.
Yep. Okay. Snooker. I play snooker.
It's different.
Yes.
Snooker
Can't
is
say that. Isn't that a bad word?
Ah.
You're family, man. You can't do that.
Yeah, listen, it was back in my dirtbag days, of course. Okay, let's see here. This is last of the Nintendogs, so I'm gonna go here. Let's go. Oh, sign into the wrong website.
Billiards doesn't have the table doesn't have holes in it.
Right. Okay.
I should check on my cousin. He's a pro pool player.
We get 30 more followers on this channel. We'll be at
Let's
40,000.
fucking go!
Wow.
Wow. What? Oh, I closed the thing. Oh. Chrome is acting up, brother, and I don't want to fucking deal with it. I don't know why.
Can we say it now? Can we say it? Chrome sucks.
Yeah, I haven't used Chrome in years.
Sucks. Yeah.
Okay, good.
What happened? Used to be
Well,
cool.
you're a weirdo. You shouldn't be.
Edge is
saying,
just. I started using Edge when it became Chrome. I used the Chromium,
Yeah.
You
but was
should
like
stop.
lightweight. It's just Chrome, but like
This is
layer
not a
weight.
good-
But like, better.
But
Yeah,
still, it's
like
like
better. You
oh,
can't.
man,
No,
like, it's like
I've accepted it. You need to accept it. I'm a boomer. You need to accept it.
I think a lot of people like Edge. I think Jeff's not a boomer for liking
No.
Edge.
Yeah,
I'm
edging
not.
is good.
Edging's
I
great.
still got to use Chrome because of the syncing though.
Hey,
it
you
just
guys
works
hear me?
well.
Yeah,
Start cheering
you guys hear that?
now.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do hear you, Wario.
they heard it too. And I mean, I think we're good. I mean, I'll tweet.
All right.
I'll tweet. I mean, I will tweet, but I think
would
we're
like
good.
that.
oh, we had a Firefox Andy on the chat. Let me shoot him.
Hey, Gene, how's it going?
Let's see. Time to talk about Xbox on Last of the Nintendogs. Let's
Again?
go.
You know.
We do it every
Let's
week.
go.
We talk about Xbox all the time on this podcast.
Ba, 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 ba.
They should put the arbitrate on Smash.
The art from Halo?
Yeah.
Oh.
They already put them in Killer Instinct. That matters more.
No.
Wow. I thought you'd be on my side on that one.
This. All right. I think we're ready.
But I'm thinking Nintendo Xbox.
I have the rundown here.
Well,
No,
Killer
ready.
Instinct on Switch. There you go.
All right,
There you
Mike.
go.
If I count us in, are we good?
Ready. Eddie.
Okay.
Betty.
I'm gonna do it.
Oh,
then.
listen.
Let me check.
Teddy.
In
Yeah, I'm ready.
5, 4, 3.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now. Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Woof, woof. Hi, I'm Mike Minotti, and I am a Nintendog.
Hi, I'm Jeff Grubb, and I'm a Nintendog.
And with our powers combined, we are the last of
Ruff,
the
ruff, ruff, ruff. Ruff, ruff, ruff,
Nintendogs.
ruff.
Today, Xbox wanted to buy Nintendo. La gasp. Is Unity cooked and done? How good does Mortal Kombat 1 look on Switch?
Oh yeah, that's that hot
let's-
shit.
First, let me welcome my fellow F099 champion, Jeff. How are you doing, friendo?
I'm doing good. I double check. I have 3 wins in counting, then I have one win on a circuit. It's
That's
tough to get those
nice.
ones. It's tough to get the number ones. I am now often in the top 10, and that feels real good.
Yeah, you get to a point where it's like, okay, I can get to that top 10 pretty regularly,
Yep.
and then sometimes it's a matter of how risky am I playing it at that end
Yep.
to like
Yeah,
really
things
maximize
have to
it.
break your way, but
They do.
it's about positioning. It's like you keep yourself in that top position, you have a good chance. You have a relatively decent chance of pulling off a top finish, and that's fun. It's something I'm still chasing and still really enjoying.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about our time with that. But Jeff, there's been some other news popping off today. But before we get to that, thank you so much for watching us live, everybody, on this September 19th, 2023. By the way, if you are watching live or if you're watching later, please hit that thumbs up button. We appreciate it. It helps more people find the show. You can also send a super chat right now if you're watching live with any questions or comments. We will read those on the air during the show. Thank you so much. But let's get to this, Jeff, because there's a bunch of leaked Xbox documents today through some kind of
It's like apparently it's like 38 terabytes or something of documents. Documents are like 7 kilobytes. How do you even get that many? Maybe someone's just making up numbers. I don't know.
Right. And apparently, like, I don't quite understand how this happened. Apparently, it was more on the fault of Microsoft and not the FTC.
Yeah, the Microsoft apparently had some unsecure Azure drive attached to some other document, and people were clicking around and found it, and there it was. There was all the info.
Man, so that's nuts. So there's some, there's a lot of like juicy stuff here. There's nothing really that scandalous.
Nope.
We'll talk about some of the stuff, even some of the stuff that doesn't pertain to Nintendo.
That's not stopping people from melting down, though.
No,
people are having an issue with some of these things.
Right. And, kind of the sort of the spiciest one here, at least on a surface level, is this email from Phil Spencer, where he talks about the possibilities and kind of just some of the realities of trying to buy a Nintendo, saying that it is the prime asset for us in gaming, and today gaming is our most likely path to consumer relevance. Now, this email kind of goes on explaining why they probably can't buy a Nintendo, and this is from 2020, August 6th, actually like a bit after Animal Crossing came out, when Nintendo was at maybe the peak of their powers ever, when Animal Crossing New Horizon came out. Right. He brings up some other companies here too, like Warner Brothers Interactive, which we knew was for sale at one point. That never really happened.
We also knew that Matt Booty has a really strong relationship with everyone that was at Warner Brothers. That's where he used to work. And we could all piece together that they would have been talking. And guess what that email says? What everyone always said about that.
Biggest obstacle on Warner Brothers is IP ownership. It's literally right here in the email.
How many times? Every time it came up, we would say, like, they're not going to get those IP. So it's going to be a very tough pill to swallow to pay all that money for all those studios. And that he's been like kind of surface level throughout this email of like, these are things I think about every single day. So I'm explaining them yet again to someone else that doesn't fully understand what we do over here. So I'm just going to give them the basic 1-2 punch of why things work the way they work. And that's what that email really rang of to me, of just like,
right.
This is someone who's curious, thought they had an idea. Let's just softly explain to them kind of why. Mate, that would be great. It would be great to date a supermodel, Mike. If the opportunity presents itself, most people are going to do it. And then, but here's why it's not going to happen. That's what that email was. That's all it was. Yeah.
ZeniMax is mentioned here. At the end, Phil Spencer says, at some point, getting Nintendo would be a career moment. And I honestly believe a good move for both companies. It's just taking a long time for Nintendo to see if their future exists off of their own hardware. A long time, ... smiley face. Okay, so look, I mean, I get it why people see this stuff and they get kind of like queasy. It's like off-putting to me to even think about it, right?
Of course.
But yeah, look, of course they're going to talk about this stuff internally. And of course he's going to say, well, yeah, that'd be great for us to own Nintendo. I think most people can look at it and say, no, it wouldn't. And hey, again, this is from 2020 in a post-Activision merger world and all the crap they had to go through just to get that.
This will never happen. Yeah.
It will never happen. And that is the plus side of all those barriers, right? Right. And it's really obnoxious and drawn out. But now a company like
puts rails
Xbox,
on everything, right? It's like,
right.
We could see the boundaries now. Before it was like, shit, I don't know. Anything's possible. Now it's okay. Them getting away with Activision Blizzard, all the reasons that worked is because one was supposed to be a hardware company, that one's a software company. Buying another hardware company clearly would have ran into so many more issues. It also mentions Valve in there, and it's like, that's the one that went like Windows owning Valve, owning Steam. That seems like a really big problem to me. That would be an issue. And I'm sure regulators
can't happen.
Yeah, right. So it's like, all these things. Even in 2020, I think Phil Spencer's like, yeah, that would be a career thing if I could make this impossible thing happen. Like, what else is he going to say to these people in internal emails that have thoughts about the way the video game business should be run? Like, yeah, it's just one of those emails that's actually not that big a deal, not that meaningful even.
It is funny to hear Phil Spencer say, he believes that Nintendo's future exists off their own hardware, considering how much Phil's tune lately is that maybe Xbox's future exists off of its own hardware.
Yeah, I mean, I again, it's like that's the strategy that they've identified as being like the long-term success, and I think he's thinking very long-term. But even for Nintendo, very long-term, like they're going to be the last ones to ever abandon their own hardware. They just are.
We know that Nintendo can be a bit of a touchy company. Do you think this is going to change their relationship with Microsoft at all?
I mean,
That this got out there.
Yeah, they might be a little bit frustrated. They might get put in Nintendo jail, Mike.
They say we're not going to do it, but the words "hostile takeover" are in the email.
Right. Yes, and right, exactly. And that's never something you probably want to hear as a competitor or whatever. But Phil Spencer would be able to rightly point out. He's like, listen, I was explaining to someone why we could never. We were that was never even on the table. We're not going to do that. We would look terrible. Yeah, I think Nintendo might be a little touchy about it, but I'm sure that Nintendo has had a lot of real conversations with all these companies before about like, hey, what is in what world would this be possible? Nintendo's laughed at them before about that, and I'm sure like they're like, hey, yeah, we know people want Nintendo. We're a very valuable company. Of course, people want us. So it's not surprising to hear that another corporation was having those conversations. We expect them to. We know how this stuff works. So I don't think they're not gonna hold a grudge. I don't think, not really. The one aspect that I think people are really hung up on is this idea that Microsoft has Phil Spencer has a friend that was previously an investor in Microsoft to the point that they were on the board of directors for Microsoft, and now they're basically working their way up to be on the board of directors of Nintendo. And Phil Spencer was like, I talk to them regularly, and they're trying to like put some pressure on Nintendo to increase their stock value, and that might change the factor. And then maybe down the line, in the long game, we'll be able to acquire Nintendo. That's like not that scandalous either. It just isn't. It's like, yeah, like some like it's not even people are saying an activist investor. No, it's just like an investor trying to get their money to be worth more. Like that's you invest in a company and then you put pressure on that company to increase the value of that stock. And Nintendo's board of directors have been sort of like hands off. So like, we trust you. And this one new investor is like, well, I kind of want to put a little bit more pressure on them and see what Nintendo can do. Even that's like, that's just something you say. It's not any real sort of collusion or anything like that. It's just, hey, maybe that's a potential strategy down the line. Maybe that can create an opportunity, but even he knows even that is very, very unlikely.
Yeah, so I get it. It's a little weird seeing this stuff. They would have rather we never saw it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's no world where I think that happens. I think we all agree it would be bad. It would be pretty bad if Xbox owned Nintendo. I think that it'd be so bad that it would be a backlash even, and maybe it wouldn't work as nicely for Microsoft as they think it would, especially if it was a hostile takeover.
Well, I mean, especially if you're going to change. I mean, if you're going to be like, okay, now Nintendo, you put games out everywhere or whatever. It's like, no, people want to feel that magic on Nintendo systems.
Do you believe that Nintendo's future is off their own hardware? I certainly don't believe
on the
that
grand
right now.
scale of human time.
Human time,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, like in 10,000 years, probably. Yes, Mike. But in our lifetimes, I would be very shocked if in my lifetime Nintendo is putting out video games on like even PC, PC, let alone anything else.
There was some other stuff here from all this Microsoft leaks. Is there anything else you thought was interesting? There's kind of mid-gen refresh maybe isn't the word, but this cylinder Xbox is going to be all digital and has some other
refresh.
perks.
It's not a pro model, right?
It's not pro. You're right. Refresh is the right word. Pro is not the word.
So it's kind of like the way Phil Spencer's been talking about stuff like, oh, hey, we don't think pro models make sense for developers, for customers. We have the X. It's already our pro version. It's like, well, okay, eventually the Xbox Series X is going to look like a worse value at $500. So what they're going to do is they're going to put more storage in there, and then they're going to sell it to you again for $500. And that's basically what they're doing. It's a $500 machine that's going to have 2 terabytes, and then it's going to have a better processor, or a newer processor, so it can run at with lower energy consumptions, it's going to be cheaper to make for Microsoft, and they're not going to include a disk drive. I wonder if they have like an external disk drive sort of solution, similar to what PlayStation is planning, I guess. But either way, I mean, it's Xbox is very, very digital heavy in most regions. So I and if you want the disc version, they'll probably keep selling the 1 terabyte Xbox Series X as well. I guess it does like that is how Nintendo does a lot of stuff, right? They always have very different variations on their hardware throughout the generation. They've been doing that from the very, very, very beginning, and it does work to help keep the average price high of their hardware, which is going to be important to these companies going forward, because they want to establish that $500, like that is where the industry's at, so that when they have the next generation, they can safely move up to like 600, which is probably closer to where they're going to want to be next time around.
599 USRs. What letter is this model going to get? The Xbox Series D would be good for digital, but dick is a problem there.
D is the first letter in the word dick, Mike. That's not. I wasn't thinking. I'm glad you said it though.
There's some words you just can't do because there's other words that start with that letter that we just can't touch.
Yeah, can't touch the D. That's right. Let's see. I do they not just, isn't it just this Xbox Series X? Like, do they put like Xbox Series X,
really?
Series 2?
We did this whole series thing, and now we're not going to continue that naming convention past the initial 2 already.
I know. For some reason, I thought in some of the documentation they said this would be an Xbox Series X, but I could be making that up. It was a whirlwind.
Maybe
morning.
you're right. I got some pushback on this back. Can we all finally admit it's a very bad name? I mean, okay, console?
I think it's a bad name because of the execution. Like, they probably could have made it work, but they've not like taken advantage of the strengths of doing it this way. So yeah, it ended up being pretty bad, Mike. You're right.
Thank you. That's all I like to hear. There's also kind of like a release schedule thing at one point that was from like 2020, or it was before they even bought ZeniMax, so it had things like Starfield for 2021, which, man, imagine just Starfield coming out in 2021.
Mm-hmm. Well, imagine Elder Scrolls 6 in 2024 next year.
Right,
come on.
There are some things here we haven't heard about. Dishonored 3, that Oblivion remake / remaster has been rumored for a while. Fallout 3 on there. Also, this stuff could have been canceled or changed at any time since then, but a lot of that makes sense.
Yep, all the things that are on there. Yes, that sounds right, and I imagine most of those things going to be exclusive to Xbox. That's kind of been the case for Bethesda.
Doom Year Zero. I wonder what that's going to be. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
or Doom is good. Are you are you frustrated? There's no Wolfenstein. Sorry.
Yeah, of course. I mean, but I'm not too surprised anymore. It stinks. I really want a Wolfenstein 3, but at this point, I don't think they're going to finish that story anytime soon. That studio is very busy doing other things, which just, you know what? I'm just going to go back and play those 2 games. Yeah, exactly. Doing Indiana Jones. I'm just going to go play those 2 games and be grateful for what we got, and I'll finish the story in my head or whatever.
Finish the story, Cody Rhodes.
Yes, Cody Rhodes is the next. Damn it, what's the character's name from Wolfenstein? It's not Duke Nukem, which is what I was about to say.
But
BJ Blazkowicz. There it is. Yes, BJ Blazkowicz.
Yeah. Xbox Series BJ.
Well, that one's perfectly fine. They should do that.
It's a silver door. Yeah, fine.
There's nothing suggestive about that. So that's what I expect, BJ.
They had that other document that like kind of went through a bunch of studios and talked about, or games actually, is like, can we get this for Game Pass? How much do we think it would cost? Blah, blah. And it was, this is not scandalous, but it was funny to see them rate Baldur's Gate 3 very low and be like, yeah,
second-rate Stadia.
Second-run Stadia RPG.
Like, the Mean Girls burn book. Second-rate Stadia. Horse shit. Get this out of my face. We can't even show this to Phil Spencer. He'll spit at our feet. It's like, okay. The Larian came out and was like, no, we get it. Everyone thought this.
We all thought that.
Yes,
Nobody thought that was going to be one of the biggest games of the year. So yeah, we all have egg on our face for that one.
Exactly. So that's it. But you're right. That was a very funny thing to see. I was
it was funny to see that. And then like in that same document, like Suicide Squad, like, yeah, that's a good one. Like, ooh, if only we could get Suicide Squad.
I don't know if there was ever a world where I was like, Suicide Squad definitely going to be way bigger than Baldur's Gate 3. I think even all along I knew that was not the case.
Yeah. So the exact words were second run.
Second
not
run,
second
yeah.
run. And some people are like, well, they just literally mean because like it's going to be on Xbox after Stadia. I think that's a very generous reading.
do
of what
too,
I think.
but
I
what
think they mean. I think they meant second ring, but it's okay. Either way, it doesn't really matter. It's
I mean, that
just sort
$5
of
million
funny.
number or whatever it was on that they attached to it, like was pretty low compared to some of the other
Was it
things.
like 500 million for Jedi Survivor? They thought if they wanted to get that.
yeah,
So,
yeah, exactly.
A 100th the value of Jedi Survivor was not quite correct. Not quite correct.
No. In fact, incorrect, I might say.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there was a bunch of that. We'll see what exactly all the fallout's going to be. I don't think it's going to be that much. I think the biggest problems for Microsoft is just maybe some angst or embarrassment with its partners and not getting to announce that new hardware on their own terms is the real problems that they have to face from this.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what, this stuff happens, and doesn't usually happen like this, but it does sometimes happen, and it's not that big a deal. Like Phil Spencer came out and was just like, man, that stunk. I'm kind of upset that that's the way that the stuff got out there. Anyway, a lot of stuff isn't the same anymore, and we'll talk about it when we're ready. So okay, I mean, when do they? Okay, let's say that new Xbox is coming next year. I mean, was that the timing?
Yeah, I think that's what it said.
Like, do they announce it at like E3 or something next year? SGF, I guess.
I mean, and the thing also said like the next Xbox will be 2028, which okay, sure.
That is a little bit Nintendo related there. Yeah, ARM architecture, which is what the Switch runs on. ARM is a silicon design company. They design the silicon chips, and then other people license those designs, and then they go to someone else to actually manufacture them and put on their devices. ARM has some patents, and they're just really, really good at designing their architecture, which is very power efficient, and these days also very powerful. And it's every single a mobile device, basically all your phones, your tablets are all ARM architecture of one form or the other. These days, though, ARM is kind of in this weird situation where there's like a new generation of ARM that is more open source, that you don't even have to go to the ARM. And this is my basic understanding. I'm going to get some of this stuff wrong. There's an open source ARM that you can go to, and everyone's really excited about that. It's one of the reasons NVIDIA decided to abandon its acquisition of ARM for like $45 billion or whatever. They were getting pushback, but they're like, I don't know, in a couple years, this might not matter so much. But the fact that they're dedicated to going with ARM for the next home console Xbox, and that's the exact thing, is it's not just going to be a home console. They're like, no, it's going to be a whole suite of offerings that will be called Xbox.
A whole series of them.
Yes, a whole series. Yes, and then some of it will be like cloud gaming. Some will be like a browser and mobile devices. So I don't know. That's interesting. It's probably the right move because you want to rip that Band-Aid off sooner rather than later, I guess, because ARM and you know, that architecture in general probably is the future. x86 has this like momentum and this legacy behind it that has made it sort of the default, but that like it's getting chipped away at slowly over time. So the idea that the next Xbox is going to be closer in design, whatever that means, to a Switch than to an Xbox Series X and S is pretty wild, pretty interesting.
All right, let's move on from this stuff now and let's talk about you remember the last scandal, the Unity? It's already like old news. Not really. Unity.
We're still waiting for them to like say what their new. I know this stuff leaked, but we're still waiting for them to come out and like admit it, right?
Right. Well, they made us say, "Hey, we listened to you."
Right, but it didn't have any details. So like in a couple of days, we're gonna say what the changes are.
Right. So we don't know, but I mean, like, so even they backtrack everything. I just wonder, like, what is the future for Unity at this point? They upset so many people. Like, why would you kind of tether yourself to this company by using their engine going forward now? Why not just take the resource, take the time now to learn something new? It's one thing if you're already, like, really deep into making a game of Unity. Maybe you're like, okay, maybe I'll get through this one game then. But how does Unity have a future, like, 5 years from now, 10 years from now?
Oh, it's simple. They don't.
You think they're done? They're done?
Yeah, I think Unity as we know it is done, is what it feels like. Because, I mean, this is the kind of thing where I remember growing up, whenever a company would screw up, my mom would be like, you got to do what Aspirin did. Aspirin fucking poisoned people, and they just came out, admit it, took responsibility, they investigated it, they fixed it, and now everyone still buys aspirin. It might have been a different like brand name, but basically that's what, like, it was like this really bad scandal, a really bad thing. People literally died, and yet the company was able to like handle this PR situation and come out the other end with like
Tylenol, apparently.
Tylenol. Thank you. And it's like Unity read that playbook and they wiped their fucking ass with it, and now here we are.
We're so sorry that you guys just don't get it.
Yeah.
We're so sorry that you're scared.
Oh, you angsty little game developers. Oh, no, they're so angsty. Get the fuck out of here, John Riccatello. You could not have beefed this worse.
What if he resigned? If he resigned, would that be enough of a reset for you where maybe Unity could save itself?
It would help a little bit, but it's not going to. I don't think so, because everyone understands where this really comes from, and it is their board of directors, and it is their being a publicly traded company, and they're still going to have that debt, and they're still going to have all these reasons to be able to make a lot of money, that they need to make a lot of money. So the incentive behind this will not go away suddenly, and people recognize that, and like, you know what? We cannot build our future on something that is so uncertain and has all of these really crazy pressures on it. We need to be building something more permanent and reliable for the future, and that is probably going to be something like Godot, which people are talking about. Hey, can we take that and make that sort of the game developer tool version that Blender is, which is like Blender is just an open source 3D modeling tool that everyone uses, that has just become the standard and it's open. People are like looking for that equivalent on the game development tool side, and that's probably something that's going to start happening right now.
Yeah, man, just a mess. And, you know, even back when this happened, you're like, oh, they probably know there's going to be a backlash, and they'll like walk back some things, but like just completely misreading how upset people would be. And of course they were. The whole thing was just so outrageous and so ridiculous. You had to, like, what planet were these people living on when they thought that they were going to just charge people? And they're like, well, it's not going to be for everybody. Well, okay, but for the people that it is happening for, like your biggest customers with the biggest games, with the biggest platforms to complain about it, they're going to be really upset. What are you thinking?
Yep. And like, you're right. The optics are so bad that even if you could explain to someone it's not going to affect you, it's like, well, I mean, but I feel bad for other developers who worked on their game, and this is happening too. Right. And what is stopping you from expanding this to affect me in the future? Like, that's a very easy thing to do once you get this established. Once we get past this stage of introducing it, adjusting the numbers about who this affects is a very minor thing at that point. And the outrage at that point is just not, it's going to be old news, and it won't be as effective. So they'll be able to get away with it at that point. So developers are looking at this to be like, we have to stop this now if we want to keep using Unity, or if we even think about using Unity in the future, or if we already have a Unity game, right? Because again, they're like, oh, we're not going to do the it's going to apply backdated. I forget what the term is. But it's not going to be backdated, but that could change, because they've already changed their mind once on that. They flip-flop back and forth, and now it's like, okay, well, sure, that's not happening at this moment, but that could change in the future as well.
All right, so yeah, we'll see what happens with Unity. Not feeling great about that.
Nope.
Star Fox programmer Dylan Cuthbert, I think they say it, says that he's sure the series will return at some point. In an interview with VGC, I mean, they keep trying, don't they? They keep trying, not quite achieving the original. He actually went on to kind of talk about specifically like the Bandai Namco one, Star Fox Adventure. He says the original. He doesn't, you know, I assume that he's just kind of glossing over Star Fox 64 here, which was in fact better than the original by everyone's estimation.
Yeah. But I don't think he didn't work on that, right? He worked on Star Fox 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think so. I think Star Fox 64 was internal.
I mean, he's a programming wizard, and those games require that wizardry for sure.
Yeah, but I guess, you know, the question, hey, we have a new F-Zero game right now. It's maybe not exactly what everybody imagined,
right,
but it is a new F-Zero game, and it is actually very good. So that does kind of leave Star Fox, it feels like, as like this last sort of legacy Nintendo franchise that has appeared on multiple console generations to really be missing from the whole Switch ecosystem at the moment. Do you think there are real serious efforts on getting us a new Star Fox in the works?
I do. I think there's serious efforts. I think it's serious for Nintendo, where it's like, there was probably serious considerations for F-Zero for a very long time, right? And it's like, well, what does that actually result in? F-Zero 99? It's like, if that's kind of the sort of arc that happens to Star Fox, I'll be happy if they like find a creative solution that it is like mostly a throwback but has some new ideas in there. That would be great if it's something completely new. I think that overall, Dylan Cuthbert here has a good diagnosis of like, hey, it needs to feel like Star Fox and or Star Fox 64, and then it has to have modern sensibilities on top of it. That's right.
And he kind of like very specifically is like, you know, some of those games like Star Fox Adventure, they're kind of missing that original Starblade inspiration, which was a big key. If you don't know, that was like Namco, I think, arcade game that really inspired the first Star Fox, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of do need some of that DNA even in your game for work. Now, Star Fox Zero did still have that, but it was just kind of other problems with that one. There are a lot of things that really need to come together to make Star Fox work.
Is Starblade the one I played on Sega CD, you think?
I believe it had a Sega CD port. It's basically
I think I played at my friend's house.
backgrounds.
Yeah,
like pre-rendered video kind of a shooter.
I think that's right. That was
I saw it in
interesting.
arcades.
Yeah, I've seen it in arcades like recently, like the last couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Jeff, don't act shocked, but Mortal Kombat 1 looks pretty bad on Switch.
What the fuck?
It looks bad in a way I find very amusing.
Same here.
The character faces just don't animate at all, and like they have dead eyes that don't
And
move.
it's like looks like weirdly like, you know, rubbery, like it's missing a lot of the textures and stuff. And you know what? Whatever. I think the bigger issue is it's like that missing mode, right? The board game mode. Yeah, Invasions. Yes, apparently that's
Why is it missing that?
It's coming later, I guess.
What the hell?
Again, I think I just saw this in a headline, so I'll double check that real quick.
So I mean, look, part of me is like, hey, whatever. You get to play this game portably. You can still like practice and learn the mechanics. It should not still cost $70.
Yeah,
That's insane.
Yeah,
for
probably
this much
not.
of a downgrade. Come on, that's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I think I understand why they feel they have to do that. Well, I think for one thing, it's like what we always say. They can get away with it, right? People are still buying this game. People are like, I like Mortal Kombat and I play games on Switch. I'm going to do this. But no, it just fundamentally, you're right. It shouldn't be $70.
Just not at all. Is this like the most ambitious, maybe till Hogwarts Legacy comes out, of just like, we're just going to be a Switch port anyways, no matter what. Here's an Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 game, and we're going to make a Switch version of it by hell or high water.
Wasn't there one that announced recently that like, we're just like, wait, for real? But now I can't remember what that is. So yeah, this is definitely up there. This is in that pantheon of, I can't believe this thing is actually on the Switch. Now, I mean, I'm a little bit more credulous with this one because of Mortal Kombat X and 11, or was it just 11? 11 coming to
11 was
Switch.
on Switch, right? So they did that. I assume that game also doesn't look great. I don't know if it looks this bad. Yeah, it is weird that they did that.
Yeah, Arkham Knight. Yeah, Chris Smith that might be the one. Arkham Knight coming to the Switch is definitely up there where it's like, man, really, that's going to be on there? I guess so, but.
Arkham Knights is going to be on Game Pass. Like, I never played that. Part of me's like, I want to like jump it now and just see what I think now. They had a little time to cook.
I was like, people didn't really care for that game. Tam's like, I fucking love that game. You shut your mouth. I'm like, oh, okay. I kind of feel like I should go play it now. Yeah.
Tam loves Arkham Knights.
Yeah, I think he's a huge Batman fan. I think that one really hit him.
Like Gotham Knights.
There.
Is it Gotham Knights?
Gotham Knights. I think Tam likes Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight. Yeah, that's the one he likes.
Which is the third game in the okay. That's
the one That's the one I was always talking about.
Well,
yes.
Yeah, because it was my fault to be clear. I was talking about Gotham Knight is coming to. Thank you, Sean. Gotham Knight's coming to Game Pass. I want to play that. See what's going. No, I always liked Arkham Knight. I thought the Batmobile stuff was fun in that game. Everyone was wrong about that.
Gotham Knights. I had fun playing the multiplayer with Dan because he would just ride the motorcycle into Bacalar, and Bacalar would get annoyed, and that was really fun.
Sure.
But other than that, I don't know what that game has for you, Mike.
No, I bet I won't like it. But
I bet you're not gonna like it.
I will not like it. But you know, let's see. All right, that is it for the news. Why don't we take a break? We have some super chats we can read. We have some questions from the community to get to, so plenty of show left.
Sounds good.
All righty. I am ready to get back to whenever you are, Jeff. You have super chats ready?
I just got it open right now. Let me just adjust this window a little bit, though, so it's a little bit easier to read the whole long message.
That window.
Okay. I am good to go.
All right. And we are back. Jeff, read me them super chats.
Yeah. Chrono Rig says, hey, dogs, which third party do you think will show of the power of... Okay. Hey, dogs, which third party do you think will show the power of the next-gen Switch, which NG Switch is One of is how people are referring to it now, since those some of those
Next gen
leaks.
Switch.
Yes, next gen NG Switch.
New Game Plus Switch.
Yeah, New Game Plus Switch. Do you think it'll be Capcom, Square, Bandai, etc.? And I think Microsoft should buy you guys. Lol. Hey man, we are for sale. So
Right.
absolutely.
I mean, everybody could. Bandai Namco's worked with Nintendo a bunch, so they have a good shot there. But Capcom just has such an easy path of like, hey, look, here's Resident Evil 4, and the game that's going to be on mobile phones, right? There's Resident Evil 4 on the Switch now, and that looks great. So
Let's reach for the moon engine and fucking to tear this system apart. Yeah, it's Capcom. Although I like this answer from AG Aragon in chat. Shinin, which is that company that does those that Fast Racing X, I think. Those are good showcases for the Switch, definitely. At least good early showcases. All right, let's see here. Dorachi. Here's some money. Put it towards buying Nintendo. Oh yeah, we're well on our. The conversations have moved along there for sure.
yeah, we got $85 on our buy Nintendo jar right now, so we're gonna get there any moment now.
Nintenderic, is it Microsoft big enough to buy all of WB, not just the video game portion, but all of it, IP included? Do you think that was ever an option? Yeah, I think they could buy all. They could there's very few things Microsoft couldn't buy.
Right. I mean, don't forget, Microsoft had those really intense antitrust issues before. Back in the 90s, they had to be a little careful about maybe swinging that big of a whole entertainment company. I don't know.
I just think that they're very laser focused on subscription services and services in general in video games. They're that's one of the things the email said, right? We think games are the biggest way to gain relevancy with consumers. And we've identified games. That was in 2020. He's saying that. I bet they still think that inside of Microsoft. I bet that's not just Phil Spencer. I think that's Satya Nadella. Making that make sense when you're buying all of WB just so you can have the IP of fucking Batman. That's tough to make sense, especially when there's
gaming rights.
Right. And at that time, ZeniMax is available and all this other stuff. So it's and now they're getting Activision Blizzard, and that comes with everything, and that makes a lot more sense for them.
Yeah.
From Shigeru Miyamoto, more like Phil Spencer. Am I right? Yeah, Shiggy, you got him. You've destroyed him. Good
Destroyed.
job.
Wow. I'm glad you can still laugh after he came at you like that.
Big Jimbo Ryan. Do you think these two watched the show together? I think they're hanging out at the
I think they're
I think they're in Shigeru Miyamoto's basement, hanging out there. I think Shigeru makes Jim come over. He never goes over to Jim's. And
they have basements in Japan. I've never played
not.
a Japanese video game where you go into a basement.
Probably not. Yeah.
I don't think they believe in basements.
Earthquakes in basements, is that a thing? Probably, right?
A problem?
It's probably a problem, yeah. Because I don't think they have basements in California either. This is me just doing association in my brain. Maybe there's nothing behind that, but I'm just trying to figure it out. Big Jim Orion writes, ha ha ha, thanks for the cheat sheet. Now I only need to make the PS5 Ultra 1% better. And I'm stealing the cloud hybrid idea too. That's a good idea. Thumbs up.
There's that other bit from the leak where it was Phil's email after they revealed PlayStation 5. He's like, I think this is a good day for us. We don't have anything to worry about. He's telling his people, we're going to be great.
Exactly.
He's going to say, oh, shit, guys, we're looking pretty good over there.
I pissed myself, guys. I'm just covered in piss. Yeah.
I guess we're going to be in last place again.
Womp, womp. The email just says womp, womp. What do they expect? Let's see. X-Core does the Jeff cum face emoji. I'm allowed to say it.
Okay, wow. Okay, jeez, yeah. Whoa, okay.
Well, that's what it is. That's just frankly what it is. That's actually me on Chinese state television. From Connell Wood, sure, we've all screwed up before, but never uploaded unredacted court documents of our employer's secrets to a public server screwed up before. Yeah, I think I've come close.
So, I do wonder who is the person whose fault this is and what is their day.
Probably pretty bad. That's just good. I don't know. I don't think they get fired for this, but I think they just quit. I think you just quit. Be like, I don't want to deal with this. Yeah,
just go home.
Right, just go home. Don't even tell anybody. Just leave and never come back. That stinks. Sorry for whoever did that. From My Dixie Wrecked. Oh fuck.
Oh my god! Oh my god! That's incredible. adorable. Thank you so much.
No, we're not doing that. We're not starting that fucking Simpsons 1980s bullshit. All right? That's the last time.
I would have totally just read that like it's a name.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Oh my god.
I need a second. Jesus Christ. From my period Dixie period wrecked. In the movie We Bought a Zoo, did Microsoft buy that zoo? Yeah, I think so. I think that.
Why did they buy that zoo?
Why did Microsoft buy that zoo?
Why would they buy that zoo?
Oh, stupid fucking show. From Mikey O'Leary. Hey, boyos. Hey, Mikey.
Hey.
Thank goodness though this leak happened because it was an otherwise dry news morning for my IGN social shift. Lol. Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing, but I was like, kind of wish it was Game Best Mornings today because it's a little bit harder to like have the real long conversations about this shit on the Bombcast
Sure.
where it's like, yeah, we're just kind of hitting the news and moving on.
I was kind of pissed. I was like in bed. It was like 2 a.m. Played some Sea of Stars, watched a video. It's like I'm sleepy. I'm gonna go sleepy. Just like browsing my phone for a hot second. And I see all this, and that perked me right. I'm like, what the hell's happening here?
I was like, I think I passed out last night without even like kind of realizing I was falling asleep, and I think it must have been relatively early because I didn't see any of this. And then I wake up in the morning and be like, what the hell is going on? And I see Steven Totillo like, my editors are asleep. I'm losing my mind. I'm like, what is he? And then I see his thread. I'm like, oh my god, look at all these leaks.
This industry should not be this interesting, right?
Yes, it should be like a really like we got a new. It's like the 7th game in this series. This should be like super boring. And we're gonna, the same fuckers are gonna buy it, but no, it's
No.
constant drama. From Steph Tendo. How soon could we see a new Star Fox? 2024? Yes, it could be. It seriously could be that
the
soon,
soonest.
and it could be fucking another 10 years. It could be either one. So, I mean, which one? What do you think is more likely? Next year or 10 years?
I think next year is more likely than 10 years.
I think so too.
Hey, let's what the difference say 2025.
Yeah, that seems completely fair.
Oops, all slippies.
Hey, get me in that Slippy. I would love that. From Prinny Dude, this Xbox news distracted people from the fact that Paper Mario Remake might be running at 30 frames per second. Truly more scandalous than anything in the Microsoft emails.
That better not be the case. Look, I gave Tales of Symphonia a ton of shit for being a 60 FPS game on GameCube and being 30 FPS on Switch. There was like a nugget of an excuse there because they base all this stuff off the PlayStation 2 version, which was 30 FPS. Nintendo does not have that excuse. This is a RPG with those timing mechanics. So if you have half the frames, you have half the windows like time, so the timing is just going to be hard to do. That would be ridiculous. That better be just something with the trailer, although usually that's not the case, and that's why I'm worried. Usually those games just look how they are. I am actually pretty worried about this.
Yeah, so Sean says, like, and we know for the Giga Leak, they have the source code lying around somewhere. Like, and this is like, they are doing a bunch of extra work. I guess they have that GameCube emulator that they use for Super Mario 3D All Stars,
right?
Where they did kind of like layer stuff on top of a emulated game. I don't think that's what they're doing here, but maybe, and that would suck.
It would be inexcusable. Give me a break.
Finally, a first-time super chatter. Shout-outs to Andrew R., who writes, Jeff, would you characterize Captain Ahab as a guy who thought it would be nice if he killed the white whale? Yes, it's like a would-be-nice situation. Absolutely. I don't think it's going to happen, but would be nice. Yes, that's exactly right.
My smart friends had a book club where they all read freaking Moby Dick, and I did not.
Did you make fun of them and call them nerds? Because that's what I would have done.
No,
as a defense mechanism.
No, not as a defense. No, they would have ganged up on me because they're smarter than me.
Of course, yeah. Okay, yeah. Listen, stay clear of them, Mike. That's what I'm going to suggest to you. Stay clear of these smart friends. That does it for the super chats for now. If anyone else has any other super chats they want to send, we'll get to all of them before the end of the show.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone. What is the Moby Dick of gaming? Inu Face says. I don't know why, but that question tickled my fancy. What is the mobile dick of gaming? It has to be something very long.
Did you say the mobile dick?
No, Moby Dick.
Okay, I know. All right, and then you said very long after that.
Oh, no. He did send mobile.
You 1,000,000%.
Okay, you guys know I get a little mumbly. I did not say mobile dick. All right, I guess we won't do this fun thought experiment anymore about what's the Moby Dick of gaming because you guys can't get over it.
Abandon ship on this and move on so we can do the fun thing.
By the way, The answer is Metroid, because that's the thing where everybody thinks the person's name's Metroid, just like they think Moby Dick's the
my
name.
favorite character is Moby Dick. Yeah.
Anyways, let's take another break, and we'll come back with a bunch of questions.
All right. My dick's erect.
Not nice.
All right. Let me open
He
up
was
this
trying to
question.
gaslight us. That was crazy.
Gaslight you. Oh, my God. Okay. Let me get my glasses
All
on.
right, what the fuck are we doing? A hidden gem?
No, the questions. God, not hidden
Let's do the hidden gem again.
Mhm.
Just for shits and
How
giggles.
do I want to see this picture of Kid Ellis with his Retro Studios mug. Oh, never mind. Stupid website. Oh, wait, this is Phantom.com. I mean, a great website. All right, Mike. I'm good to go whenever you are.
Yep, let's get back to it.
Mobile dick.
All right, everybody. We are back with questions from our Discord community, our patrons, and other friends. Let's start here with Chaos Buckaroo, who says, howdy, fellas. My two biggest thoughts from the Direct. 1, another code looks awesome. Will be great in that January slot. And 2, the Tomb Raider remaster looks terrible, like GTA Trilogy AI remaster. Bad.
Wait, yeah, Tomb Raider's now owned by Embracer, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Huh. I do wonder if that's like just a real cheap cash grab. I didn't think about it because I wasn't like looking too close because I'm like, I don't care about Tomb Raider, whatever.
Yeah, I didn't get to look too closely at this.
I didn't notice at the time, like, oh, this looks like AI up-res like cheapness, but maybe. I don't know. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. I kind of like want to take a quick peek at this. I mean, I don't know. It looks okay to me. I like that it kind of still looks like the original. And the dinosaur looks pretty weird. It is weird because it's like smoothed, but still kind of PlayStation 1-y. And I'm not sure. I continue to look at it. I'm not sure what to make of it. Look, if it plays well, that'd be fine. Although it's weird because those original games don't play well. So I don't know. There's a lot of question marks, but I'm glad it's happening for some reason still. But who knows?
Same. I feel the exact same way, where it's like, I don't care for these games, but I'm glad that this exists.
And then another code. Yeah, I wonder if I'll get to try that, but it'll be. I'm glad that those games are getting another shot. It's a rough time. It makes me think of Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. I was so glad that got ported to the Switches here, and it happened at maybe the worst time possible. Just a time for that game to get completely overlooked once again. I feel like, right? So hopefully another code finds an audience. Axolotl. Adam says the Wii U's commercial failure is theorized to be partly due to its confusing name. Consumers mistaking it for a Wii peripheral instead of a new console. What name could they give the Switch to that would be equally as confusing? I submit the Nintendo Switch Up for your consideration. That's pretty good. How about the Nintendo Switcheroo?
Yeah, there you go. I think Switch Up is good because it's got the U in it, so it's basically just a Wii U.
I think Adam's actually got it. So
Yeah,
Nintendo Switch Up would be.
That's pretty good.
You could see like some like board liking that name because we're gonna switch up the game.
We're gonna switch up this whole industry. Watch out.
Oh God,
man, that was a good PowerPoint, Steven. Yeah, good job. Switch up. Let's go.
Yes. Benji says, "Hey, conservatives. Wow, how is Mike's asshole? It's good. They seem to think it was looking a lot better. Thank you."
It's great.
Tokyo Game Life says the Game Awards started in 2014, and since 2015, every Game of the Year winner was released in the first half of the year. Is this a coincidence, or are critics more hesitant to giving Game of the Year to a title they just played?
I think recency bias is a real thing, and like usually it works the other way. If we were to try to do an Occam's razor here, I would say maybe games that come out in the first half of the year are played by more people because you have more time to play it, and that helps with the kinds of people who are voting for the Game Awards. Like if I'm but maybe those games are also just actually better.
Yeah, I was just thinking like I don't know if Game Awards has really gotten it wrong or horribly wrong recently. It does feel like we in general have kind of been getting better games in the first half of the year recently.
The voting does happen kind of early-ish too, so it's like
there's that. If you're a December game, that's a whole nother issue.
Even if you're like a mid-November game, it's pretty tough. So I think a lot of great games come out at that point. So
do people not like It Takes Two? People are like, It Takes Two one. I like it. It Takes Two a lot. I thought that was a good game.
I'm gonna guess that many people who say that probably haven't played it.
Yeah. Okay, MonkeyBot 9K says, "Hey guys, on Friday night I'll be taking off to my third vacation trip to Japan.
Ooh.
Something I feel very lucky to be able to do at all. Any must-have retro games I should be looking out for my collection? I'm talking mainly Nintendo stuff, Famicom, Super Famicom, Game Boy Color, GBA, DS, and 3DS, but also PlayStation. Okay, interesting. So, like, man, I mean, I would be interested in Saturn just because there's so much like exclusive Saturn stuff in Japan. But for Nintendo, he has a link here for his collection. He's got.
God, look at this. This is great.
Well, do you have? I mean, I don't. Okay, you do have the Final
See, I don't
Fantasy
need to
6
collect
in its
shit.
box.
I could just like look at these pictures of other people's collections, and I'm just as happy. This is fantastic. I don't need to hold these things.
Yeah,
think I'm
there's
telling
a
myself that.
there's a Super Famicom like 2D Mission Front or those mech games that were mostly strategy games. Mission Front, right?
Front mission.
Front Mission. That's why it doesn't sound Front Mission. It's a 2D game that came out in Japan that's supposed to be really good. Front Mission something. It's a Super Famicom. Oh, you have it. I see it now. Oh, no, that's just Front Mission. I think that's just normal Front Mission. So maybe you don't. You have a lot already. I think you know what you're doing. Generally, you have a bunch of Front Mission. You have Rockman 2
Get
on Famicom.
that Frog Boy game for the one that from the Link's Awakening team that they did before Link's Awakening. I can't remember what it's called. It's like For Whom the Bell Tolls or something.
I got it. Yeah, you have to get Rockman 3 though. You only have Rockman 2, and that's just not acceptable to me. So you have to do me a favor and do that. All right. Hey, have fun, by the way. All right. F069 the musical says, "Dear little lads who love berries and cream." God, I thought we finally escaped that one. Thinking about F099 reminded me about Super Mario 35. What a fun little game that was. Which in turn reminded me of Fire Emblem Shadow Blade and the Blade of Light and Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Do we think that Nintendo's done with the asinine practice of giving digital games a limited purchase window? P.S. Mike, you should totally get an espresso cup like Jeff, even if it's just used as a prop. That would be funny.
I have an extra one right here. Here you go.
I don't want it.
There you go, Mike.
Yeah, I would hope Nintendo's done with that nonsense because it was get your cup out of here. It was definitely annoying. Do you think they're done with limited release schedules?
I hope so, but it's Nintendo. I don't think they're ever quite done being weird. So,
yeah, exactly. Who could say? Jamie H1224 says, "If Smash Card is next, assuming each character series has at least one course associated with it, who are 5 characters you want included, and what are there? 5 courses. All right, Jeff, we won't each do 5. Let's just spitball together so we have 5.
Sure.
We definitely need Mike from Star Tropics with the Star Tropics course, specifically that island that had the dolphin. I want dolphins swimming around everywhere.
Right, and then let's do Rusty because I need my Rusty. So Rusty's Real Deal Baseball. That's an easy one. You just have it go through a baseball sand lot, and then it actually goes into a big actual baseball stadium and all that stuff. And
Sure.
A fun course would be a kart racer level in a baseball stadium.
Yeah, I want my Talon 4 course with Samus.
Ooh, yeah, for
1,000,000%.
I think
We
I
already
want.
had Zelda.
I think a Rhythm Heaven course would be pretty cool, but I'm not sure like what character you bring in from Rhythm Heaven. I guess maybe one of those like singing guys. One of those guys that could be cool.
Yeah, and a Corneria course from Star Fox, but with Slippy as the character and not Fox.
Hell yeah, Fox can go to hell. Fox is stuck in Smash Brothers. He needs to keep practicing.
There you go. And absolutely no Crystal either.
No.
They should have just a very, very horny Xenoblade Chronicles 2 course.
They should put May or Mai, whatever her name is from Final Fight from Fatal Fury in this game instead of Smash.
There you go. Yeah, she's welcome here.
Yes.
Crouching Boomer Hidden Zoomer says Gonzo or Animal? Oh, easy Gonzo for me.
I
Gonzo.
like both a lot, but it is Gonzo. Gonzo is fantastic. One of the best characters ever.
You liked when I got like mad when Bacalar was like, "Whoa, the Sesame Street aren't Muppets." I'm like, "Oh, those are Muppets."
I was like trying to say this, and I'm glad you came in and just like set the record straight.
Yeah, you're trying to be nice. I was like, "No." To be clear, I'm mad. All right, Gerber says based
Muppets.
on the recent Super Metroid chat and a dashing contributor suggestion that Ridley is arguably the star of the game. What other Nintendo game is more about the villain than the hero, excluding the Mario RPGs, because they're the obvious answer? God. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, really does.
I mean,
take a lot of
other
shine.
Nintendo game is more about the villain than the hero. Not playing as the villain because that would be the
No, but
Wario
like, yeah.
Wario games. So I mean, Super Mario Land 2's got like a lot of stuff kind of referencing Wario a little bit.
Yeah,
but nah,
that's a good one, Wario. Can we say Wart just anyways?
Yeah, let's just say Wart. Sure.
Let's just say Wart from Super Mario Bros. Otherwise, I don't know. There might not be an amazing answer to that one. I wish like I could say Donkey Kong Country is really about King K. Rool, but that's just not true.
Nope.
That's just not true. I guess yeah, Bowser's Inside Story, but sure, Inufe, but yeah, he said no Mario RPGs. Hosp says, "Hey yo, dogs." Christian God, what could you say? Pokemon Black and White. Oh, actually, yeah, that's a good one, Christian. Good job. Haas says, "Hey yo, dogs. Look, I know there are far too many games at the moment, but I wanted to call it Gunbrella, which came out last week. It's a blast. The movement is fantastic with the boost mechanic of the Gunbrella in midair. Only 5-ish hours long, so worthy of trying.
For some reason, I thought this game came out a long time ago. What am I thinking of something else?
I kind of thought so also, but no.
Was it like maybe was it like in a Steam Next Fest or something? Is that
something? I think we saw it a while ago.
Maybe that's it. I'll go get this game right now. Maybe we can do a quick look of it.
Always Be Clothing says, "Hello, Jeff. 9 p.m. energy drink Grubb and Mike missed Nintendo due to butt stuff. Minotti. What's going through your mind when Dan Reichert appeared on the balcony behind Dan Reichert?" I think it's very clear what was going on in my mind. I started screaming.
I thought someone was in Mike's house because the way Mike reacts, I didn't see it. I wasn't watching Dan's feed. I don't like looking at that guy. So I'm like, Mike's just like, "What is that?" Is what he said. And I'm like, "What, Mike, are you okay?" So I'm like staring at Mike's feed, trying to see it. And you can see it in the video. It takes me a long time. And then Dan moves to go close the curtain. So I do look over and then I see the other Dan.
I was dying.
And then I don't know what I think my head went empty with fear, basically.
It was incredible. Such a good bit. Oh my God.
It was
that
great.
madman.
Yep.
CB Cran says, "What's your favorite special edition Nintendo console?" Was there a Game Boy Advance that kind of had an NES aesthetic to it?
Yes.
I remember that.
Yeah, Game Boy Advance SP, I think,
nice.
right? Yes. That's
yeah,
right.
SP. It was a clamshell.
Mm-hmm. They did that for that and the Famicom.
Majora's Mask, the new 3DS, is actually pretty nice.
That's the one I had. That's one I had. Yes, I really like that one. It's actually the one I think I use still. I also had a Mario and Luigi 3DS, a 3DS XL. And I like that one a ton. That was one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, Sean, I hate that Nintendo 64 with the big plastic Pikachu on it. I thought the thing was hideous.
I think it's hideous in a fun way, but yes, I agree.
Taniel says, "Hello, Jeff. I see Wiener Grubb and Mike Seymour Buttonati. You're a carny at the state fair. What unfair section from a Nintendo game are you bringing to have people play while you call them names and laugh?" Probably the thing with the monkeys in Lion King. That's the first thing that came to my mind. That or like the Battletoads tunnel. Not a good one.
What's that? There's like this like the barrel mini game in Donkey Kong 64 where it's like you like to have to like roll these barrels into the hole in the center and it's like fucking impossible. I would do that. That would be a great carny game.
That would be. Jackie G says, "Hey Mike, since you're under the impression that Resident Evil 4 should be considered for Game of the Year, sure that means Oracle of Ages coming to NSO is eligible as well." Oh my God. So either way, does Resident Evil 4 remake really stand a chance? Okay, first off, eligible is so funny. Hey, if you want to make Oracle of Ages eligible, sure. No one will vote for that because everybody understands inherently, so it's fine. Yes, of course, Resident Evil 4 Remake has a chance of being nominated. I don't think anything's going to have a chance against Tears of the Kingdom, with Baldur's Gate 3 as like the one real opposition for it.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah. Chuck 1991 says, "There are various repro consoles that play NES, SNES, and Game Boy games, from the high end made by Analog to budget models made by Retron. What I want to know is, after the inevitable Nintendo 64 hardware, is there a world where we get disc-based, repro consoles like GameCube or PlayStation? I assume cartridge-based consoles are easier to reproduce, but is it even possible / probable for a company to make a repro console that reads optical discs? How is an Analog N64 even a guarantee, or have these repro consoles already reached their limits? I haven't really thought about this, but yeah, why not? What's the issue here?
Well, with the N64, like the depends on like which kind of reproduction consoles you're talking about. If you're talking about Analog, which uses FPGA, you need a very big and expensive FPGA chip to be able to accurately. They're getting there with the what's my Mister? The Mister. There's an N64 core in the works. It's kind of like everyone agrees it's a miracle that that's even happening. But if like you're a company that's going to go out and get a bunch of these FPGA chips, it's going to be pretty expensive. And then if you go the other route of software emulation, N64 notoriously difficult, even though it's like one of those systems that got basically emulated almost effectively right away. It was still a notoriously difficult thing to emulate, especially emulate accurately. And that's like kind of a barrier for Nintendo. It's like we gotta have a little bit of extra power, and that costs a little bit more. And so maybe it doesn't make sense for us to do that. That's the big thing there. For disc-based consoles, obviously it's storage. I mean, I think, they did do PlayStation. CD games are big, but they're not so big that it was completely price prohibitive. But that changes pretty fast as you get into the generation after that. I think it will still happen because people would probably pay a good amount of money for even a Dreamcast that had 10 games on it, right?
Oh, yeah. Right. Well, again, they're not, but with Repro, they're talking about like actually reading discs. And stuff
sure. Yes.
So if I can interject something really
Please.
quick here, because we actually had someone respond to Chuck's question in the community. Gerbear brought up the Polymega. Do you guys remember that?
Yes, the Polymega. Yes.
No.
Yeah,
that does Sega CD and stuff and a whole bunch of others.
So Mike, what is you know the Retron consoles where it's like you put all the different cartridges in and they use an emulator to like play the game, but like reads it from your cartridge.
Yeah.
The Polymega is basically that, but for both cartridges and discs. You can actually buy little disc modules that you snap onto it.
That was
going to
be FPGA, right? And then they kind of pulled back from that, I think. I can't remember.
Yes, because they realized that if they want to go further ahead, FPGA wouldn't be able to do that.
Not
so
yet,
it uses so instead it just uses the most accurate emulators that they could license.
Yep. These things, Polymega took a long time to come out. It was like this long, arduous process, but it's out there and people seem to like it. So it'll happen over time, but it'll take a long time for that to be worth it for these companies. But those, a CD drive is not some super expensive thing. They'll do it.
I could buy a quote unquote modern Sega Saturn. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, I guess for DVDs that I wonder if I don't know if the DVD fee still applies for the consortium. It probably does. So I don't know. Maybe that would cause a problem.
Matt Rare Monkey says, "Hello, Beef and Cheddar Boys. Since the announcement of F-Zero 99 was the next Nintendo franchise to get the 99 treatment, my suggestion would be Excitebike 99 or Star Fox 99 in the SNES style graphics. Grubb, you should play Whisper in the West, a co-op Western detective game. I don't really understand how you 99ify Star Fox 99 or Star Fox to be.
You can do Star Fox 64 99 with the dogfighting. It probably would run like shit.
I think like that roguelike element for Star Fox makes more sense. Excitebike works fine.
Yeah, Excitebike would be fine. I don't know how much fun it would be.
Yeah, do we not get like a 99 version of WarioWare if it just doing the original WarioWare but 99? That could be fun, cool, right?
Yeah.
Good. Beef Hammer says, now that the undisputed, undeniable best amiibo is Sora, what do you think is the worst amiibo? My vote is Detective Pikachu for being comically large. I do hate that. I think I actually have one of these. They sent me a giant, or is this a normal giant Pikachu?
I really want the Yarn Yoshi. I really want that one, but I was too lazy to actually go get one. No, I don't know. I don't have an opinion on this. I don't think about amiibo.
I do a lot, and I think it is Detective Pikachu.
Okay.
Screaming Madden, you better. Screaming Madden says, "Hey there, Jeff, Samurai Grubbo, and Mike, Mr. Ed Naughty. I've been playing F-Zero 99 rotation with Pikmin 4, and not only has F-Zero 99 become my favorite Battle Royale NSO game, but might be my favorite multiplayer game of the year. My question, however, is what future plans do you think Nintendo has supporting and updating F-Zero 99, besides adding the remaining courses from F-Zero SNES, of course? I mean, I think it's mostly that. Probably add some more cosmetics.
I think there's some new modes that'll be in there, apparently, according to leak to, what is it called? The divers into the coders.
Yeah. I think this game definitely has, an end date, like most of these have had, right? I think it'll have, it'll be fun while we have...
In terms of content you're talking about, right? Not because they're not going to pull this thing down, right?
Well, didn't they? I thought they did that with some of the other 99s.
We got Pac-Man 99, but they don't own Pac-Man. And Super Mario 35.
Mario 35,
but that was always all the stuff they were doing with the 35th anniversary was limited. They haven't brought down Tetris 99.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, maybe they don't then. So hopefully there is a good future. But
I mean, they might take it down if everyone stops playing it. But yeah.
Do you think they make new courses eventually?
No, probably not. I think it'll be like the content that they have planned, and that's it. Maybe one more a batch of stuff after that. But according to the people that are getting in there and looking around, like there's a bunch of extra stuff in there, especially modes. It sounds like one of the modes is going to be something along the lines of the last racer standing, which I'm like, I'd be interested to see what that's like. Although F-Zero 99 as it is, kind of perfect for me.
Yeah, I like the way it is. But even if they said Pokemon Puzzle League 99, I would like that so much. I think that's maybe my favorite puzzle game. I don't know why. I love that. I was watching
beloved puzzle game. Yeah,
I was watching Bailey doing Tetris 99. I think last night, and I was having anxiety just watching it. It's insane.
You've won Tetris 99 before, right?
I don't think so. No,
I've won once, and it was so stressful trying to It's like it feels like you're redlining. And you have to just go so much longer than you think it is.
And it seems like it's just such a struggle to basically get to the top 20. And then it's a combination of luck, but also still staying so laser focused.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
You have to make every move has to count. Yes, it's so nuts.
Let's see here now. Mr. Bohr says, "What's up, Jeff? Still feeling those summer vibes because we have yet to reach the autumnal equinox. Grubb and Mike, the Carrie Underwood, a video game journalist. Minotti. Naturally, everyone wants to know when the Switch successor is coming out. What I'm curious about is when do you think it was or will be the Nintendo has selected a specific launch window internally? I think the recent direct points to Nintendo planning around the new system's launch, but I'm curious on your thoughts on if it's something they've had planned for a while or it's only been more recent that specific release window has been selected, or if you think they have one yet. I think they have a release window in mind now. I bet they have had that for. I mean, look, we saw in this Microsoft stuff, right? They have an idea of when the next Xbox is coming out already.
Yeah, shit changes all the time, but they definitely have ideas.
Changes. And I think maybe with Switch 2 is a bit more in flux because the system did so well and they probably did drag it out a little bit more than maybe they initially thought they would. It's
like probably the kind of thing where it's like they have a window and then if things go right, they're like, well, we'll go in the far end of the window. And that's what's happening, right?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right.
The thing that happens last minute is price. That's the thing that they decide at the last minute because they want to charge as much as possible, but they look at the reality on the ground. Pricing gets set legitimately at the last minute, and people always say they know how much it costs to make, and I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? That doesn't matter. They don't care how much it costs to make. They care about how much they can get away with selling it for, and that'll be decided last minute.
Dr. Ryan says, Mike, how in the hell do you do Disney World? As a West Coaster and longtime Disneylander, the humid weather kicked my ass so hard, I don't think I was never not sweating. I can tell you're a Disneylander because you wrote Disney World as one word, as if it was Disneyland.
Wow, it's fucking embarrassing.
Yeah. It is humid. It depends a bit when you go. For some reason, if I'm walking around, even if it's hot, that's not when I get sweaty. I get sweaty sitting down like this, or if I was writing something, that's when I get kind of sweatier. For whatever reason, when I'm moving around in the sun, it's all right.
I just sweat.
You just sweat always. We know this.
Yes.
Brock Nest Monster says, hey, Nintendogs, with the Switch ports seeming to simmer out, do y'all think the reason we haven't gotten the Zelda HD remasters from Wii U era is because the Wii U, was such a commercial failure that Nintendo's not see financially viable to port them to the Switch and will just hold on to them till the next system? Thanks for what y'all do. No, because they released a ton of other Wii U games. Yeah. I mean, basically everything but those, and Xenoblade Chronicles X and Star Fox.
All of those have to be on the table. They considered all of them. I think it's just more likely that the Zelda team looked at the potential things to release and looked at their schedule and looked how Tears of the Kingdom was moving around and moving back, and they're like, does it actually make sense to put this out now between Skyward Sword and this? And they're like, no, let's just save it. And I think that's how it went.
It wouldn't be, again, just spitballing. It wouldn't be shocking if maybe that's finally Switch 2 year one stuff.
Yep. Or even a last minute thing on the Switch.
And I would bet that Xenoblade Chronicles X is coming. That wouldn't surprise me if a remaster of that is what Monolith Soft is up to right now.
Yep.
Laser Wolf says, hello, Jeff. If you spell what I'm cooking, Grubb. And Mike, it doesn't matter what your name is, Minotti. Yeah. I was at SmackDown when The Rock returned, and it was amazing. But why didn't he tell me to enjoy my gaming? He doesn't want you to enjoy your gaming anymore.
Unless he gets paid.
Yeah. He saw what we all said about him. That's fun, though. That had to be really surprising. That was an incredible pop when he came out. It's fun just to watch that and see everybody freak out.
Yep. I caught that live just by happenstance, and it was wait, that's really neat.
Jedi Moss says,
enjoy your gaming.
Jesus, that scared the hell out of me for some reason. Thanks, Rock. Jedi Moss says, Square Enix seems to be at a real crossroads of Final Fantasy and whether it should continue to be wedded to PlayStation or become fully multi-platform. Is the next Nintendo console being powerful enough to support modern Final Fantasy games enough to convince Square Enix to go multi-platform for the next Final Fantasy, not just for Xbox, but also for Nintendo?
It would do better on Switch, right?
Hey, remember Dragon Quest IX, right? Remember, it's like,
Yeah.
hey, this thing's more niche. Why don't we just actually make this for the less powerful console and just keep it very true to its roots still?
And if everyone loved 9.
Everyone loved it, and it sold a ton of copies. And you don't have to go that far back in terms of like retro graphics and stuff these days. Like maybe a Final Fantasy 17 with the Switch 2 as the lead platform is an incredibly smart idea.
Yeah.
They make it a turn-based game again.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe that's what you do.
I mean, I get that they're like, oh, it's got to be cutting edge graphic or technologically. I guess that's true. Final Fantasy has done that, at least since 7. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. It's hard to diagnose because it's still not exactly sure. Like, what is like okay? Like, what is up with Final Fantasy 16? How well did it do? How well did it not do? But look, I think in a lot of ways, people's socks weren't blown off.
Yeah.
Right.
Clearly.
In a lot of ways. Like,
Clearly. Yeah.
Commercially, critically, right? So maybe there's
Ben
some
Star
evaluation
blows
happened
my
there.
socks off. Final
Ben Star-
Fantasy 16, it's like, well, Ben Star's in there, so my socks should be blown off. But
Right, exactly. So I obviously still need to play it myself before I have fully formed thoughts about it, which I do still plan to do, everybody. But I do it on the base level, maybe a bit of an overcorrection in terms of like we're gonna make it like really modern and really
I think
just,
that's hard to argue against that. It
I think
definitely
it
was
was a
an
bit of over and like
overcorrection.
make sure that we get more people in here, maybe at the expense of losing the interest of some of those. Because there are so many Final Fantasy sickos, you can have a touring concert about it, right?
Mhm.
So maybe there's got to be a way to just be able to appeal to those, and of course bring in some new people if everyone's excited. And not to make everything about Baldur's Gate 3 again, but there's a
Yeah, but it
game
is.
on a kind of genre that everyone assumed was some niche thing that you could never get a mass audience to care about. I mean, that's what Final Fantasy 7 was back in the day. Back then, people also thought turn-based RPGs were niche and not for a mass audience. Turns out you make a really big, exciting one that captures the zeitgeist, everyone's going to be just fine with turn-based RPGs.
Everyone shows up. Yep.
Jet Binks says, hey Nintendogs, would you play a AAA Nintendo game on your iPhone? I personally think that if Resident Evil 4 Remake and Death Stranding can run on the iPhone 15 Pro, someone will get a Switch emulator running on it. I will not play those games on my phone. I do not like playing games on my phone at all. The only one I did it for recently, and by recently I mean the last 10 years really, was Marvel Snap. But that's it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be doing that. That's even if I like with the backbone and all that stuff, just seeing the battery drain that fast on a phone gives me anxiety. So no.
Yep. Velocity Prime says, Dear Turbo Nerds, with the announcement of the Paper Mario remake and the central mechanics of the Peach game coming with costume changes, which Nintendo series would you like to see follow suit and have the characters' design or world environment changed up significantly? Yeah, what's Nintendo series could use a bit of a cosmetic refresh, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It was always
Kirby already had one.
Kirby's had a couple, right? Yeah. I mean, just in terms of we're talking about like the way it looks cosmetically.
Yeah, a world environment change up, even character design, just some kind
Well,
of.
I mean, listen,
shake up.
I think even Super Mario Brothers Wonder, as much as it's changing things up, it's like, well, it's probably still gonna have like an ice world and a lava world. I think I still like that stuff, so I'm mostly okay with that. But I guess maybe I hope that the like if there's like another 8 worlds after the first 8 worlds, that they're like radically different and come from like completely out of nowhere. That would be pretty cool.
Okay. Eating Combat says, Dear Super Grubb 64 and Tolkoto Sunshine, EA and Nintendo have done crossovers, and Ubisoft and Nintendo have done crossovers. That just leaves ABK out. What crossover franchises would you love to see between Activision Blizzard King and Nintendo? Man, if I still cared about Overwatch, maybe that would have been fun in the day if there was like Nintendo skins in Overwatch.
Trying to think, has Mario been in any ABK game? Like, it's like, was he ever in like Tony Hawk? No. Was he ever in Guitar? Was there Nintendo Music and Guitar Hero? I don't think so.
No, Mario was a Dance Dance Revolution guy.
Yes, he
We
was.
know this.
He was a Mario mixer. Yes.
Yeah. So
So what cross references would you love to see between ABK and Nintendo? I don't know. Put Mario and Candy Crush. I don't know.
yeah, that probably that would make sense. Yeah, I don't know if I needed any of them, to be honest. I don't know if I need it.
Diablo.
Yeah, I thought about that. They could do some interesting costumes, maybe like Bayonetta style.
Yeah.
Fudsack says, "What is today's equivalent of giving your cousin the crappy third-party controller?"
The Joy-Con drift controller, right? I mean,
or if you give the Joy-Cons, right? Like,
I
I only have 2 action controllers. You get to hold like the 2 Joy-Cons.
yes, that's
what you
definitely
get.
happened. That's exactly what
That's
it
it.
is. Yes.
Yep. Big Tony says, "My dogs. I'm known as the Final Fantasy guy in my friend group. What are you guys known as in your own friend group? Thanks." I mean, I have a lot of friends that don't really play video games, so I am often known as like a video game person or Disney. So those are kind of big ones, just in general.
Yeah, I'm the video game guy just in general. Yep, that's for sure.
Bench JC says, "Hey dogs, what's one game you can't stop thinking about recently? For me, it's Baldur's Gate 3. I bet Jeff is having a hard time not thinking about F-Zero 99.
Yes, F-Zero 99, and still to this day, Hitman 3.
Yeah.
Always thinking about that.
Been thinking about Sea of Stars a lot. Very good game. Been really enjoying that. Tink says, "Hello, puppers. Can you all make the October podcast spooky? Maybe each week talk about your favorite horror or horror-adjacent games from each console generation." We'll have some spooky themed things.
Yeah, we'll do something.
Themed things going. We'll do something. Don't worry. It's hard to believe that's almost here. Man, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, but I'm getting the
forward to
Halloween
October.
decorations out this weekend.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm going to get a giant human nervous system in my front yard just to be different.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to get a pile of meat and be like, there is no
There you go.
skeleton here. This is just the flesh.
Yeah. Turbo Sean says, "Hey, Mike, who played Luigi in the 1993 film Super Mario Brothers?" John Leguizamo.
So close. So close.
Nobody backed me.
Leguizamo.
Leguizamo. Nobody
Leguizamo.
backed me up, but like Nikki's outfit was literally
Oh,
the
yeah,
Luigi
yeah,
from
but
the
it-
live-action Mario movie.
100%. But then you said Leguizamo.
Then it became about me.
Yes, absolutely.
I had them, and then it became about me.
If you're a Latino, it will be Leguizamo, but you're not, so you're not allowed.
Lenny Cool Dick Denver says, "Why did Mike climb that tree at Disneyland? And was he mad that the news called him a bear?" Disney World. And yes. Lostian says, "Hey, Beef and Cheddar boys, do you think Nintendo's Gen 10 console, Switch 2, will have an all-digital version? Since Sony and Microsoft are pushing / releasing all-digital versions of their Gen 9 consoles." And yes, Jeff, Gen 9, Microsoft labels Xbox Series
I know they
Gen
do.
9 in their
You
documents.
yeah, what does that have to do with anything? Yeah, we still don't talk that way.
It's so bad about
Dude,
it.
I get so mad. I know. Yes, Gen, they don't in their documents in the back end of their OS. They label it like Gen 9. That's right. You're gonna go talk to a normal human being. You're not gonna say that. Okay, you're just doing this to make me mad, and it worked.
I love it. Diogo says, "No question this week. Just wanted to say Mike is a bad / great influence. They have a copy of Dead or Alive Extreme 3 Scarlet from Japan." Oh, somebody's going to Japan. Yeah, get Dead or Alive Extreme 3 Scarlet for the Switch and send it to me. Actually, I don't know, because like,
A big 18 plus on the cover.
yeah, my Dead or Alive waifu's not in it. Christy's not in this one for some reason. Also, they redesigned Christy. Like in the early Dead or Alive, she just looks like every other character, but she is a bad person, you know, a villain. And then at some point they redesigned her where like they like Cruella de Vil her a little bit. Like, well, now she like looks on the outside like she looks on the inside. Like, no, I still want her to just kind of be like hot and smooth.
Yeah.
Mainstream penetration.
Mainstream penetration. A bad what? I wanted to say bad guy. I'm like, well, it's not a bad guy because it's a girl. That's why I really slipped up there. Yeah. But how's Christy not in it? I thought everyone like Christy was like the cover star of Dead or Alive 3. Now she's not even in this one. What the
She's
hell?
basic. Get over her.
Okay, who do you like in Dead or Alive, Sean?
Crystal
Listen,
Cell.
We don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. Bob Stellation says, "Woof woof to my dogs. What's your biggest work? Oopsies. Thanks as always, and have a great week." Well, one time I accidentally said how many cat shines were in a Mario game, and then we no longer got early Nintendo codes. I guess that would be mine.
I fell for an April Fool's joke that said Adam Boyce was going to be the president of EA. or the CEO
Oh,
of EA.
right.
Yes. And I'm
Remember, like,
pretty sure whoever sent that email was a fan of Giant Bomb. Like, I'm like 90% sure. So who else would have known who the fuck Adam Boys was back then?
I was about to say that. Sorry, I was about to say that. Are you sure wasn't that like a giant bomb joke that somebody said on the stream?
Yeah, it probably was something like that. And then they made a fake press release and sent it to me, and it worked.
Remember your first week at Giant Bomb when you like talked them on to getting up early to watch the Nintendo
Oh yeah, that's
Direct,
another
and
good
then
one.
you
Yes,
slept through it.
I slept through it.
Your
Yes,
first week.
Yes, that was very good. I couldn't sleep. I was too excited for working at Giant Bomb. I think about that every time there's a direct.
I was like, better not sleep in this time. Joyzy. I think that's how I'm going to say that. Joy, how would you say this name?
Let me take a look here.
Joy, E-U-S-E. Joyuse. I like Joyzy.
Joyzy. Okay, let's just say Joyzy from now on.
Joyzy says, hey, Mike, please don't call me Mike Major, Mitch Minotti, and Jeff. Please do call me Jeff Grubb. By the way, I know, Jeff. I know what my game. I know it's Mortal Kombat Special Forces.
Why do you think that's what it is? You keep saying
because,
that. I have no idea why you think that's the case.
Well, it's supposed to be one of the worst games ever. It's funny because I want to play the other Mortal Kombat spinoff. This was be worse than it. And also, Jax Briggs is a major, and you keep calling me Major Mitch.
That seems like such a leap.
It's not. See, this stuff. You like pretend like you never even heard of Special Forces. It's so Special Forces.
I don't. You said it's like one of the worst games of all time. I've not heard that. I know that for sure. I've not heard that.
Okay. Yeah. Right. All right. Anyways, every Nintendo console has something silly about it that is confusing at first, like the GameCube handle or the Switch's slide out and hold sideways for multiple Joy-Cons. What silly thing do you want the Switch 2 to have? I think they should bring back 6 face buttons. Oh.
I want 6 face buttons my entire life. It's one of the. Yeah. Listen, the N64 controller, I get people don't like it. It does have 6 face buttons, and I like that a lot.
I always get confused when people are like, I couldn't imagine playing Mortal Kombat Trilogy or fighting game.
Oh, you want me to press a C button? What do you want me to do next? Give my sister a massage? It's like, what the fuck? Like, chill out.
And everyone's like, oh, but the Sega Saturn controller. Like, yeah, it's better. But I mean,
of course it's better.
6 face buttons.
Yeah, this is like
you don't have to stare down at it. It's just going to feel the same.
Yeah, get over it.
Yeah, but
for fighting games. 6
yeah,
buttons,
great. Exactly.
Ones, great for you can use it like a claw. It's pretty good. You say that?
Good stuff.
But yeah, now I'm just stuck on 6 face buttons. That's what I want. Thank you.
Same here.
Octa says, hey, Jeff and Mike, why didn't Bethesda optimize Starfield for insane review weirdos? Look, don't make me, because, like, Jeff, I gotta be honest with, like, each passing day, like, I feel more and more negative about Starfield. I haven't played it in a while, too. I once I got Mortal Kombat 1, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this for a bit.
I'm working on other stuff, too, and it's getting hard to go back to it. I enjoyed my time with it, but it's not. Whatever. It's an okay game. It's not a great game.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll say that for another time. Anyways, jokes aside, what's your favorite Paul Giamatti movie? Sideways and American Splendor are some of my favorite movies, and they've aged like fine wine.
Yeah.
Well, wanted to ask this before last week's Giamatti talk. Bonus. Giamatti looking extra schlubby in the 1996 FMV classic Ripper. What the hell?
This looks amazing.
Cool. Yeah. American Splendor's great.
I want to play that on Giant Bomb. It looks great. American Splendor is fantastic.
Yeah, very Cleveland-esque too.
Yep.
Not a movie, but John Adams is fantastic stuff.
Oh, I love John Adams. God, I love that fucking miniseries. So I have watched it a bunch of times.
What about his work in Hangover 2? Remember that?
I don't remember that. What about his work in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 as the Rhino?
The Rhino.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
I've actually never seen that movie.
Yeah, he's in Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes.
I'm going to download American Splendor right now. I don't care.
Good movie.
He's good in Planet of the Apes, actually, but
he actually is.
He's good in everything. I love Paul Giamatti.
I was thinking about
really
Planet of the Apes a lot for some reason. I think randomly clips from that showed up, so I was like watching the good clips from the first movie.
I think I remember like complaining about that movie, and then like my friend was like, "Yeah, the original Planet of the Apes movies weren't holy to me, so that's like why I'm okay with this." I'm like, I don't give a fuck about that. It's just a weird movie with a weird ending. It didn't make any sense, but yeah.
I do like the original, though.
I love the originals, actually. I do.
Get your hands off me, a damn dirty ape.
I very much like sci-fi original movies by the end of that series, and I still very much appreciate it.
Well, that means because that was just what's his face from freaking Twilight Zone, right? Like it feels like a long episode of Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
in a lot of
absolutely.
ways.
Yes, I mean, and like they definitely were just like the last movie made this much money, and it's a little bit
Rod
less than the
Serling.
one before that. So we're
Right.
gonna lower the budget for the next one and just keep going. And they just did that for
Yeah.
5 movies, and I'm like,
Is it like
I
one
like
of them's
that.
one of them's a courtroom drama? I bet that was very expensive.
Exactly. Yes.
Creative. Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas.
From chimpanzee to chimpanzee.
Man, that might be the best sequence in Simpsons history. That kills me
hate
every time.
ape I see.
That's such a good one.
It's
Can I play
really
the piano anymore? Well, of course you can. Well, I couldn't before. Just
It's really good. Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas. I
incredible.
think about it every day, I think.
It's so good. It's so good. All right. Isaac Clark says, howdy, fellas. Would you rather go the rest of your life without eating meat or go without eating cheese? As a vegetarian, the choice is obvious for me, but I'm interested to hear what YouTube beef and cheese connoisseurs have to say. That's tough. Meat is so like... I eat both of these things in almost every meal, to be honest. Almost every meal I have probably has some meat and some cheese in it. But I like pasta a lot. I don't need meat in my pasta, but I probably need some cheese there. I might actually say I'd rather go without eating meat, although I think I would regret saying that.
Yeah, I would go without eating cheese, but yeah, that's definitely my answer. Even like not worrying about the dairy allergy stuff. The protein, I need the protein. I really do.
Shoji Kodo says, hey there, doggos. Let's take a little trip down memory lane back to when pre-orders determined whether we could obtain games at launch or not because they'd actually sell out. Was the last game you two can recall pre-ordering at a brick and mortar? Bonus question, if it was a midnight release, what was your choice of Gamer Fuel and Munchies when you got home to play it later that night? For me, it was Halo 3. My buddies and I actually had a couple pepperoni pizzas and Dr. Peppers delivered to us while waiting in line for the release that night. I mean, it was the first time in forever, but I did actually do it for Tears of the Kingdom. Again, first time in forever when I did that. But God, before that, no idea. And I was never much of a Mountain Dew kind of guy. I don't know what munchies I would have had anyways. I don't know. Do you remember, Jeff?
Like the last one I remember going to get was, I think it was like I decided like the last minute. So I went to the Meijer that was behind my house and I got, I think, Call of Duty. I'm going to say Modern Warfare 3. I think it was like, I was like trying to save money. I'm like, I'm not going to pre-order. I'll just wait. And then I like last minute, I'm like, I want to play it. So I went and just got it. And I do think I remember getting a bag of Doritos that had the Modern Warfare like codes on it or whatever. I don't think I got Mountain Dew, but I definitely got some Doritos.
Fluffy Cloud Gamer says, boys, yeah or nay, Wario and Waluigi trucks and mud game. Well, okay, you couldn't be pandering to Jeff anymore if you tried.
Give it to me.
I'm going to say no just to spite Jeff. I'm going to say nay.
How dare you?
All right, then. The New Vegas Wolf says, hi, Jeff, Jim Ryan's Destiny 2 rating partner, Grubb, and Mike, Phil Spencer's Diablo 4 rating partner, Minotti. For all the Microsoft leaks going around, do you guys think this is the biggest leak in gaming history? The only ones in this level, in my opinion, is the Nintendo Giga leak and the GTA 6 leak. I mean, there was when Half-Life 2 got leaked that one time way back when. This leak, actually, I bet, especially like a month, is not going to feel that important.
Yeah,
really.
Right. It's mostly stuff. It's like, oh yeah, that sounds right. Like every single thing that happened this morning was like, it's weird to see it written out, but all this makes sense.
Yeah. Let's see. Next one is from Jeremy Biff says, hello, Jeff, the least favorite Minotti Grubb, and Mike going to settle down with Taylor Swift and make her music less chaotic. Minotti, why does it seem like Xbox and PlayStation had a hard time getting Nintendo fans to care about their games? Feels like Nintendo target gamers that are undeserved by the other two. Why does it seem like Xbox and PlayStation had a hard time getting Nintendo fans to care about their games? I think Nintendo fans are generally pretty happy, for one thing, right?
Right. It does feel like
we have a lot to play.
Yeah, Xbox and PlayStation fans are always fighting with each other because they're secretly a little jealous of what the other has. I mean, definitely one way more than the other in recent years, but you know, you would think if PlayStation fans didn't care, they would just go play their games, and yet they're still always arguing with Xbox fans online. And Nintendo fans are mostly off on the side being mad at Nintendo or something else, or mad at the Pokemon Company, and that's who they're mad at. because
exactly.
they're playing Nintendo games. Yeah, it's just the Nintendo audience is very specific, and PlayStation, Xbox does not even attempt to scratch that same edge.
Let's see here now. Vision 49 says, no question, but I just want to shout out the FPS documentary. That is actually its name. Haven't seen much talk about it, but with 4.5 hours of interviews with industry vets and legends, it's really a great watch. Yeah, I assume this is actually about first-person shooters.
Yeah,
Ben?
I think is this the one that has John Romero in it? Like I think,
John Romero's been doing a lot because he just had a book come out a little bit ago.
Yeah, for some reason I'm like making that association, but I don't know. That sounds great. I'll check this out.
There's somebody at the wedding I was at this weekend who looked so much like John Romero, had like the hair. And
Cool.
I wanted to be like, you look like John Romero. I don't think they would have known though. Would not have known who I was talking about.
Yeah, I click on it. IGN's got FPS first-person shooter, the definitive FPS documentary, and the trailer opens up. I'm 1 second in, and this is his name is John Romero, and he's right there, front and center.
There he is.
So there you go.
JD Camp says, do you think this is a good deal for a zoo? It comes with lions pre-installed. I hear owning a zoo is easy. So let's see here now.
Well, if Matt Damon can do it, come on.
In Hobart, $3,750,000
Australian dollars.
So that could be anything. So, well, we could buy a zoo. Should we buy a Nintendo or a zoo?
Zoo.
Yeah, one of those ones. Look at that. This is great. Christian found your story about Adam Boyes.
I fucking hid that thing too. So way to go, Christian. So like, I think I removed it from the main feed of GameSpeed. Like I didn't like fully get rid of it, but you can see.
That's fun
Jesus,
stuff.
man,
I don't really remember what's happened. Don't worry, Jeff. I didn't care.
Because like, look at the time. It was like 8:53 p.m. Like it all happened like after hours because I was rushing and stuff. I'm like, oh, big story.
Yeah, I know. I remember that game. Glad we don't have to really play that game anymore. DMC, the Press Me Cry says, hi, Jeff, Virtuous Cycle Grubb, and Mike, Dark Patterns Minotti. Usagi got added to Shredder's Revenge and plays a lot like a Devil May Cry character. Got me thinking of a Devil May Cry side-scrolling beat-em-up as a portable companion game like the GBA often got. What modern game do you wish got a portable companion game? Yeah, we still get those really kind of now and then. Like Bloodstain had one, essentially, even though I know those games are on all platforms now. But something like that. Ah, man, what was something recently that could have had?
You know what? Okay, so this isn't exactly the question, but I really let that Mummy demake. I think I would like for every Tom Cruise movie to have like a Super Nintendo style licensed game to go along with it. Like, give me Top Gun Maverick, give me Mission Impossible games where he's just a side-scrolling guy shooting a gun. That's just give me that.
I think that sounds fantastic. Juan Gift says Square Enix is apparently looking to elevate some of its B-tier franchises to AAA status. Which of their franchises would you like to see given a bunch of that big Square money? Mana, The Quiet Man, Rad Racer. Rad
Racer, Jesus.
Yeah, right, freaking Rad Racer. I mean, what would they? It's hard to say because like they did it. There was a new Star Ocean not that long ago, and they kind of made it sort of cheap, and it looked cheap, and I don't think many people cared about it very much. When you finally did your console version of Bravely Default, it didn't really look that much better than the 3DS games. So I feel like the ship sort of passed on that one also.
I mean, they could try to make Front Mission bigger. Mechs have
try
done
to
well
make Front
recently.
Mission bigger. That would make some sense.
The Saga games, is that them?
Yeah, that's them. I like the Saga games back in the day.
Yeah, but I mean, do they need? Is the answer like another AAA RPG?
You're still trying to figure out Final Fantasy, kind of.
Right.
So I don't really know what. It's kind of weird. I don't really know what exactly you would do here. Like, if anything, bring back Parasite Eve, and that was AAA. It's just been gone forever. It's not like it's a AA thing right now. So I don't know.
Yeah,
a hard problem to have.
Yeah, tough.
Drewman says, "Yo, Nintendogs, I'm a little late to the Starfield party, but I have a quick statement. The dynamic Eclipse start screen is actually pretty goddamn cool. Jeff, what the hell were all these people on Twitter smoking last month? Oh, that's right, the start screen drama. God, we're so far removed from that. Yeah, that was real stupid.
Yep,
it's a great start
screen. It was always very stupid. Yep. Yeah, I don't get it.
Gigantes42 says, what was your favorite direct announcement? I mean, I certainly got pretty excited for 1,000 Year Door.
Yeah, it's like the
even though now I'm
answer. Yeah.
now I'm a little skeptical because of stuff. The Princess Peach game does look.
I was very happy to
good.
get more details about that Princess Peach Showtime game, and I think it looks like a lot of fun.
Yep. And then Inu Faces Grubb. Have you seen the real game of the year? And it's that new Bluey game that's coming
Yeah, I
out
saw
Switch
this.
in
My
November.
kids, like they're fine with Bluey occasionally. They never really got into it very much. And
Really?
as much as I like it, it also kind of makes me feel guilty sometimes because the dad's always playing with the kids, and I try to play with my kids a lot, but it's like, man. So when I don't, I'm like, man, I'm not being as good as a dad as the Bluey dad.
TV dads are always like that.
Exactly
don't
right.
worry.
No, I know that. I'm like, but it's like in the moment, I'm like, shit. Okay, yeah, I'll go play with the kids
They're
more.
gonna hate me if they keep watching Bluey.
Exactly. So, you know what? This game looks fun though.
All right, that's it for the questions. Thank you so much, everybody. Why don't we do? Let's do one more break here, Jeff. Then we'll come back a little bit, talk about some stuff we've been playing. If there were any more super chats, we'll read those. I'm not sure, but yeah, little break. All right, ready?
Perfect.
Jump. Yeah, we did it. All right,
There's
go
a few
right
more
back
super
to it.
chats.
Cool.
You
We'll start with what we've been playing, then we'll do those.
Okay. Don't forget.
All right,
'Cause
are
I'll
you
forget.
ready?
Okay, I won't forget. Yep. And we are back. Right, Jeff. Yeah, we've both been playing that F-Zero 99. It is actually a lot of fun. It works better than I really ever thought this concept would work.
Same.
Quite a bit. My only real complaint is that they, like most of the Switch games, they have the shoulder buttons mixed up. I kind of fixed that myself.
Oh,
but that's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they are. I wish they were different. I wish you're right. They should be flipped. I'm not going to have to change it, though. I've gotten used to it now.
I know. Yeah, it is easier just to get used to it instead of switching that and switching it back for
Yeah.
other games. But man, I mean, this game looks really pretty. Still just, doing that SNES style. It is a lot of fun. It is what like most of these battle royales should be, where it takes skill to get yourself in a position to win and then a little bit of luck there, but still like you're not going to just completely luck into a win. That's not really going to happen.
No, yeah, you need luck on your side. Like it, you don't have to get a KO to win. It helps a ton.
It helps on the last my because I haven't played too much since that first night I was playing a
Right.
ton. But when I got my win, I did get a KO like halfway through the last lap, and that refills your energy, so you're able to boost a bunch. So that
Right.
can help.
Yes, exactly. And then like when I was playing, I'm like, and this feels like so much luck because it's like you got to hope that someone around you is gonna blow up because you can't go chasing someone trying to make them blow up. That is like a recipe for disaster. Like you just can't do that. So I'm like, okay, so I gotta hope someone next to me is gonna be smoking and that I'm able to run into them. And I'm like, it feels a little bit flaky in terms of the net code or whatever it is to get close enough to them. So it's like a little bit unreliable. But now it's like, no, actually, don't worry about that so much. Just focus on racing well. If you can like look in front of you and you can navigate a path where you're not bumping into too much, that's like most of the way to getting you to a win. And then there's a few other like small things that you can do. Just obviously learning the best time to do all your boosts and your super
Exactly,
boosts.
that's a big thing. And since there are only a few tracks right now, it is nice to kind of
I like
get
that
an
a lot.
idea. Like you can optimize these tracks. You have a good idea of when you should be boosting and when maybe use the super boost. And
Yep.
yeah, like just stuff like that is going to help a lot. I wonder like how sweaty this game might get. Is there going to be a point where there's some sort of min-max stuff we don't know about? Because right now there's a lot of people playing this. Who
I
maybe
watched
aren't gonna
someone
be
on
playing a couple
Twitch,
weeks.
and they got like 20 wins in the time I was watching, and they were then I watched someone else and they were doing a night cup and they got a perfect 1,000 point score because they got every single first place. And it's like some of these people are just that good. And it turns out I'm like, they are speedrunners. And some of them are F-Zero speedrunners.
Yeah, I bet they're pretty good.
And
It's,
it turns out-
it's good to see that those skills translate.
Exactly.
I guess, yeah.
And they were like, oh, no, I'm an F-Zero GX speedrunner. And it's like, I don't know everything about F-Zero SNES, but it's like, okay. I was like asking them questions and stuff. But they're mostly kind of like doing stuff. The one key thing that I've learned is, and that I learned this from asking the speedrunner, they're like, I am constantly looking at the arrows at the bottom of the screen to see who's coming up behind me, and I try to get in front of them because they bump you, it'll make you go faster, and you want to that'll get your speedometer up above your max speed more frequently, which is going to help a lot and help you get to that top part of the pack so that you can be in contention in the last lap. It's like, okay, that has helped a lot. But beyond that, there's not that much. I mean, doing spin attacks, like, but that's also like maybe something you want to do defensively where you hear someone coming up behind you and maybe they're doing a speed boost. Well, then you're going to need to attack so that you don't take any damage, and then you still get the benefit of being pushed forward. But yeah, honestly, it really clicked in place at one point over the weekend after I was getting a little frustrated, and then after that, it's like, okay, I kind of see through the matrix here a little bit, and it is just juggling all those things at once. At the very least, though, it's a very fun game to play. I really enjoy it. Yes.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it.
Me too.
And yeah, I'm surprised. Like, maybe it's not that many people. Like the people who are like upset this is the only F-Zero thing we're getting. Like, I don't know, this is pretty fun. But I'm also wouldn't be surprised if it isn't the only F-Zero thing we're getting.
I wouldn't be surprised if it also is the only thing. Like, it could go either way. But for me, I'm very happy with this. Like, I'm not looking a gift horse in the mouth with this. This is a new F-Zero game. It legitimately is a new experience, and I know the content is familiar, but that's when you can kind of add battle royale to a lot of things that are familiar and make it feel very new, and that definitely happened here.
Exactly. All right. Anything else you've been playing, Jeff?
No, nothing on the Switch. I still want to get around to like just trying some Sea of Stars, but boy, I'm like so far behind on stuff at this point. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I've been playing enough Sea of Stars for the both of us. I've been really liking that game. It's been.
I saw some people put like 75 hours into it, and I think they were trying to get the platinum trophies. So
yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
I think I'll beat it and probably move on to some of this other stuff. But I'm definitely a big fan of it. It's super fun. It just feels comfortable, very comfortable, cozy little JRPG. Oh shit, what did I just say? I mean, fun, exciting, and thrilling, and nonstop action
You're
adventure.
a fraud, Mike Minotti. You
No,
fucking fraud. I knew it.
I hate though. It's not cozy at all, and I would hate it if it was. That's what I mean to say.
Piece of
Jeff,
shit.
I think we have a few more super chats, Jeff, before we wrap up here.
Let's see, another first-timer, Carlos Lopez. Thank you, Carlos. With the leak showing Xbox isn't going to release a Pro version, do you think they'll feel pressure when Sony's Pro console will be doing 60 frames per second? Will Xbox cave and, release a Pro version? I don't think so. Because that's a lot of effort, a lot of work, and by the time that they would get a Pro ready, they're going to be really close to next gen if they haven't started it already. Or they did start it and kind of abandon it and have to because they took them like the Xbox One X took them like a whole extra year than PlayStation. And it's like in this situation, it seems like it would take them even longer. So I don't think if they put out if Sony puts out a Pro version, yes, some of those games are going to be 60 frames and 4K and all that stuff. But it's not going to be some massive difference because the developers are still going to be hitting a base sort of spec that is going to be well within the range of the Xbox Series X.
Yeah, I do wonder if how it's going to work out if we do have the cylinder Xbox and Sony meanwhile has something that is like PlayStation 5 Pro.
I just don't get why PlayStation would want to force out a Pro if they don't have to. Because I guess maybe if they think they can get away with charging $600 for it, maybe they like that. Yeah. But even that,
is it worth it just because Microsoft isn't going to do it?
Yeah, is that what it is? Maybe that does change things a little bit. It's but you can.
I mean, is there a chance of a decent chunk of Xbox players being somewhat embittered? Like, hey, we really bought to this Xbox ecosystem, and I would have paid for a Pro model.
Yeah, I want the most powerful console.
PlayStation is.
I was told I was getting the most powerful console, and there was never really a moment where that felt true, and now it literally is not true. So, yeah, that could be a problem for Microsoft, and maybe Sony wants to do that, but it's at the same time, I feel like Sony would be better off just doing a PS5 with more storage, with yet another cheaper processor, and taking a huge profit margin on that. That would seems like the right answer, but we'll see. We'll see what they do.
We'll see. You have to read another super chat.
Yeah, turns out I got to read another super chat here. I just need a break. I just need a mental break.
It's fine. Take a second, Jeff. It's
fine. Let's see. I think I said that Carlos was the first. That was a mistake, but also thank you, Carlos. Dax was the first, new first-time super chatter. I miss Bug Snacks. Well, you know what? You can go back and play it right now. There was that DLC. Did you ever play that, Dax?
No, I do not miss Bug Snacks. I had my fill of it.
I should go back and give Bugsnax a try because I love Octodad so much, and I never really gave Bugsnax a real shot.
It was easier for me to try when it was like a PlayStation 5 launch game.
Oh,
right?
Of course, yes, of course. From Elric, Dragon Quest IX multiplayer allowed you and a friend to control 2 members from each of your team into in-game dungeons, grottos. Give me that on Switch, Chef. Kiss. Yeah, they should re-release Dragon Quest IX on the Switch.
You know,
And
I'd
Dragon
be
Quest
shocked
VIII.
if. Yeah, I think we'll be seeing more Dragon Quests show up on the Switch. It would not surprise me.
Let's see here from Burrito. Either of you folks trying out the Cyberpunk 2.0 patch or DLC outside of work content? The 2.0 stuff I'm playing right now. Yes, I'm playing that right now. And then the DLC we'll see. I can tell you tomorrow on Game S Mornings.
We'll eventually start playing Cyberpunk for the first time on stream at some point, and I'll let you all know when that
You are
happens.
I'm like really realizing, because I knew they did this, but like you're gonna have a completely different experience than I did. Like it's a completely different skill system and all this stuff. It's a really different game now. So pretty wild to realize that. From Joe, storage for the next Microsoft update will be 2 terabytes. PS is 8 terabytes. Switch 2 is 512 gigabytes. My Switch / micro SD are full of beloved first party and indies, but I still prune for new big games. Your take on Switch 2 storage potential? I mean, listen, they're still going to have an SD card slot on there, and by then we'll probably have like 2 terabyte SD cards, I would assume. I guess I haven't been paying attention to that. Maybe for some reason we won't, but I think we will. So it'll be expensive for a little bit, and then it'll get more affordable, and then you have that's be a good amount of room. The Switch 2 games, like they're going to be much bigger. They're still not going to be quite as big as they are on these other systems. So yeah, hopefully that'll work. Mike, that does it for the super chats.
That, in fact, does it.
Hooray!
Oh, we did it, man.
Got through another one.
Sitting here on camera for a bit. I was on the Min-Max Trivia Tower before this. That was a lot of fun.
Yes,
Check that out.
I watched that. That was a good time.
Min-Max. Tomorrow we have maybe the last episode of Blight Club. Not Blight Club, but of Sonic.
Yep.
Should the music be playing now?
We got this. We got it, Christian. Don't worry.
I'm sorry, because we should saying bye and shit. And
We're getting there. We're working up to it.
I apologize.
Hey, you know what, Mike? You know what this show has? 200 likes.
Thank you, everybody.
I wanted to say that. Fuck. I wanted to say that. Thank you for all the
Christian, take two. Go ahead, Christian.
Yes. Thank you for all the likes. 200. That's 207 likes.
Really?
Wow.
Holy shit.
That's the highest we ever got on like a live.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Before the archive goes up. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Mike, should I hit the button?
Yeah, you hit the button. I give you my permission.
Thank you.
Columbros, that first episode's public. Second episode is out for the Patreon subscribers. Thank you all so much. Game us Decides on Thursday. We are keeping busy. We are busy little bees. We're going to have to start thinking about doing the Game S Game Club for Starfield soon, and also the next video game, Jeopardy.
218. Let's go. 220. Let's go.
Thanks for the likes, everybody. Thanks for all the super chats. Thanks for all the support. Game S Mornings tomorrow. Game S Decides on Thursday.
Who do you have on Game S Mornings tomorrow?
Lucy James is back.
Hey.
Back in action. Looking forward to it. We probably will be talking. The Cyberpunk reviews will be out by then.
Biscuit bitch.
Yes, that's Biscuit Bitch. We're gonna make it happen.
Now. 220. Let's fucking go.
220.
Fucking
Hell
kill
yeah.
this shit.
That's a good show. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
My dick's erect. Mainstream penetration.
I think you have to put Crystal back in it.
Mainstream penetration.